Yes, now, bless now. Don't forget Rest Now, Des Rocksteady at KOTP so that's DZ at KOTP people. We're talking about stage diving. We're going to have a little bit of learning today. We're going to learn about stage diving. It is King of the Pit TV after all. So, shall we get in? Let's see what a guan. Stage diving is the act of leaping from a concert stage onto the crowd below, which occasionally causes serious injuries. It is often the precursor to crowd surfing, alright? My question to you is it considered stage diving if you do it off of a table in the venue? Is it considered stage diving if you do it off of the balcony, off of a banister, staircase? Is it still stage diving, or does it have to be off of a stage? Because I've never heard of table diving, never heard of banister diving. So is it all under the same umbrella? Long before the word was invented, public stage diving took place during the first Dutch concert by the Rolling Stones at the Kurhaus of Scheveningen, I don't know, in '64. Jeez. Many musicians have made stage diving a part of their stage acts. Jim Morrison was an early performer, known for having jumped into the crowd at several concerts. So, I guess as far as early stage diving, unlike the crowd surf, I mean, an artist just jumping off of the stage and landing on the floor, you know, to an empty crowd, really, that could be considered stage diving. So I can see how its roots come across a lot earlier than the more, you know, group effort of crowd surf. Many musicians have made stage diving a part of their stage act. Yep, we've got to that. Iggy Pop is often credited with popularising stage diving in pop rock music. Initially seen as confrontational and extreme, stage diving has become common at hardcore punk and thrash metal performances. Yeah, most definitely. I have spoken about this on the crowd surfing research video. Hardcore punk and thrash metal performances are good examples to do so. More so crossover thrash metal, or like roots local thrash metal with a punkier element. Because the stage diving technique is less so getting on the stage, wasting everyone's time, including the band's space, trying to get everyone to come and be prepared for you, and more so get on the stage and get off the stage as soon as possible via jumping onto people. Or, you know, just jumping off and landing on the floor, such as a dive as opposed to like going for a surf. Best way to do it, because instead of, you know, naturally, yeah, you are facing the stage, you're going to see someone come on the stage that shouldn't be there, especially if they're moving with such intensity. Psychologically speaking, to ensure we are safe and sound, survival mechanisms within us allow us to track motion very well. If you want to attract attention, you find motion. I study non-verbal communication as a side, so I know exactly how this works. Your peripheral will pick up that person, and by default you're going to be able to catch them, as opposed to someone who's spending all their time on stage waiting for you to prepare yourself. You're just going to get anxious and say, you know what, fuck that, I don't want to participate in this, as will everybody else when the energy dies. So when you keep it high energy and A to B ASAP, it's just so much safer, and the result is a lot better. Risks and incidents. Stage diving has occasionally caused serious injuries. One example is when Peter Gabriel of Genesis at the Friars Club at Aylesbury, 71, stage dove during the end of their song The Knife, landing on his foot, thus breaking his ankle. I mean, every stage dive should be an attempt at crowd surfing. You should never jump off of the stage full force with the idea of landing on your feet. That would be very silly. On 20th of August 2010, Charles Haddon, the lead singer of English synth pop band Wesley Swimming Pool, died after a performance at Pukkelpop, Belgium. He committed suicide, but was it intentional? By jumping from a telecommunications mast in the backstage artists' parking area. Haddon was reported to have been distressed after he feared he had seriously injured a young girl earlier after a stage dive. Wow, that's mad, but yeah, that's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. Let me tell you a story, right? I really disagree with this. I might do a separate video on this, to be honest with you, because it's quite a polarizing opinion I have. At some hardcore event here locally, yeah. I don't know if they still do it, and even if so, more mature, probably a better situation. But I like crust, grind, power violency, that vibe. The circuit around here, someone started bringing their child to an event. Yeah, they looked after them with appropriate PPE, put big headphones on them and so forth. They must have been, what, 5 years old, 6 years old or something? I was bringing them to the event now. It was all cool, and you can get your points for being a good dad and all that. Oh, you're bringing your kid to the show and all this and that. But this kid, I'd be moshing. I'm a mosher. And I'd be flying side to side and that. And on occasion, I'd just fly to the side. And then you'd look. I mean, you're bumping into people, knocking them down or pushing them back and so forth. And there's this little tiny kid present near the side that someone could fall on, you could fall on. And then guess who's taking the responsibility for that? Imagine if you did that just whilst having fun because someone decided to bring their young kid to an event. I'm going to do a separate video on that because obviously there's different environments of live events you can bring your children to and so forth. But I think in some particular cases, it's just very silly and short-sighted, and that's a particular environment I would say so, Little local venue, low cap, get so many people through the door. It's easy enough to, crush a normal, fully grown human being, let alone a little child. So I say that just in response to seriously injuring a young girl earlier after a stage dive. It's that easy. Such as I was saying earlier about just get on the stage and jump off the stage. You never really know who's going to be there. You never really know when you get pushed, when you successfully land on someone and they push you off, whether you're going to go head first and connect your skull with someone who may have a disability of such, maybe a vulnerable individual, and then what goes on from there. So I'm saying that purely as I got, I don't want to disrespect people who've been in deeper situations, but I do feel I've developed some sort of trauma from the closeness of potentially hurting vulnerable people, young people I've personally been involved in when it comes to moshing and so forth. It's just dancing, right? But there is a real, well, what more can I say? In February 2014, federal judge Jan E. Dubois, who's got her own page, if not he's got his own page, he's a senior United States district judge, must be the real deal, ruled that Fishbone had to pay $1.4 million to a woman who broke her skull and collarbone during a 2010 concert in Philadelphia when Angelo Mo stage dive on top of her. Who's this? American musician, best known as his work as lead singer and saxophonist in the Los Angeles ska and funk metal band Fishbone. I bet he was gutted. That's worth you getting kicked out of the band, innit? What the fuck you done that for? Another fatal stage diving incident occurred in May 2014 in New York City during a performance of the metalcore band Miss May. I had a mate who was mad on that band. Although the fan was able to walk away after falling from the stage, the concert was cut short after he fainted. He later died in hospital. Wow. It's bleak, innit? You never know. You never know. You don't go to an event thinking this stuff is going to happen, but you just get involved in the energy of it all, and before you know it, you have serious injuries. Have we got anything else? Anything of importance coming in? Got some cultural pages here. Deadheads. What's a Deadhead? A Grateful Dead fan? I've never delved into the Grateful Dead. Do you think I should do? Yeah, you know what? That was wait, we've got the sign of the horns here. Shall we see how much information we got on that? Yeah, we've got quite a bit. We're gonna move on to that. Have a delve into the sign of the horns, people. Right, I'm signing out. That was a little bit on stage diving. Let's keep it moving.